Hi, I'm Tommy and thank you for buying my Made in Oldstead signature box. In this little video, I'm going to talk you through all the dishes, but also the inspiration behind them. Let's get going. Okay, so now we've got it all unpacked. Let's start with the wine. Pour yourself a glass, so you're going to have a good night. Along with my instructions, obviously everything's in this little booklet. Also, be sure to scan in there because you can find out how to recycle all your packaging. Also hit up the playlist as well. So we'll start with some lovely bread. This sourdough is from Haxby Bakery, which is just down the road, someone we work with a lot in the restaurants. It's made of Yorkshire Organic Miller's flour, which is 100% stone ground. So it's a really traditional method. It's just flour, salt and water. And a lot of time and love. Really nice sourdough. So this needs to go in the oven, 180 degrees fan, for sort of 8 to 10 minutes. And it'll take that long as well because you get a lovely crust and bake on the outside if you get that in for long enough. Oh, that is perfect. So tonight we're serving it with Halford cheddar custard. So Halford cheddar comes from Wales and it's the oldest organic dairy farm in Wales. And the custard sounds kind of odd, but it's a signature of our restaurant in York Roots. So it's basically the Halford cheddar with some cream cheese and egg yolks. It's really slowly cooked, so it's thick and creamy. And it's basically the most delicious cheese spread you're ever going to have. So I've had a clear down, got everything ready for the starter. So the starter today is a terrine made out of beetroot cooked in beef fat. Now, beetroot cooked in beef fat is one of my signature dishes. This beetroot's been cooked really slowly. It takes about 4 hours. So in that time, the beetroot whizzens up. It becomes really sort of sweet and smoky and quite meaty in flavour from the beef fat. And we just set that in a little jelly with some hibiscus tea as well. So really simple. I think the flavour's all there in the dish already, so I don't think we need to mess too much with presentation. So I just put the terrine on the left of the plate and then take some of this curd. This is goat's curd, really fresh, really delicious, a little bit of zingy acidity. It's been whipped up with some horseradish. So I just put a nice dollop of that to the side. And then we've got these little seed crisps as well. So there's sesame seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds in there. And we just mix that with some potato starch, roll it out and bake it to a thin crisp. I just like to stick them in on angles. There you have it, presentation, really easy. One thing about this terrine though, get it out of the fridge nice and early so it's sort of room temperature. That's how you're going to get the best flavour. Okay, I'm all set then for the main event. So beef Wellington. Don't be scared, it'll be absolutely fine. So if you just get set up, what you need is a baking tray to put the beef Wellington onto, and you need 3 pans, one for the jus, one for the vegetables, and one for the potato. So I'm going to start by getting the beef Wellington in the oven. The oven should be on 200 degrees. I've just cut a little bit of parchment paper just to rest it on so it doesn't stick, and get that in there. So this beef's absolutely stunning. It's been salt aged, so it's in a chamber of pink Himalayan salt, so it's matured the beef really nicely, dries out and the flavour's incredible. Totally grass-fed beef, that's really important. So if you just get a little bit of the egg yolk onto your brush and then just brush away. Don't be tempted to load up with any more egg because actually you want to just get a nice light coating. Sometimes you find on the lattice of the pastry that it groups up a bit, so try and brush that out and get it as even as possible. And this egg's just going to give it a lovely colour when it's baked. Egg wash all around the sides, and that's good to go. So I've got my oven on 200 degrees. If you haven't got a fan, it'd be 220. So cook the Wellington for 24 minutes. It'll be absolutely perfect, medium rare. If you want it cooked a little bit more well done, give it half an hour. But don't be scared, 24 minutes in the oven, 200 degrees, this will be perfect. So we've got the beef Wellington in the oven. It's time to start looking at the garnish. No real rush. The welly's going to be in for 20 minutes and then it's got to rest. So I would start with the potatoes because we want to get a nice golden colour on those before they go into the oven to finish off. So you can take your time with this really. A little bit of oil into the pan. Then we've got the duck fat potatoes, so they're just They've been sliced really thinly, slowly cooked in duck fat and then just pressed. So now we just need to finish them in a pan. We're going to crisp up the outsides, just a nice golden colour, so they're going to be like crispy on the outside and really soft and gooey in the middle. And once they're coloured up, they can go in with the beef Wellington. And then last minute, we'll turn our attention to the vegetables and the jus as well. So you want to keep this fat on a nice medium heat, so we're just looking for a nice golden brown colour on the outside. You can really take your time, so you've got 10 minutes while this beef Wellington's in the oven now. So no need to rush it, you don't want to burn it, but equally you don't want it to be anemic either. As it starts to bubble up, you can really see the colour starting to come up the sides of the duck fat potatoes. That's perfect. Okay, they're beautiful and golden brown now, so I'll turn them over. And we'll just leave them to sit in the pan for a minute or so, just to start colouring up the other side of the potato, and then I'll put them in the oven with the beef Wellington for the last 10 minutes of the beef cooking. So I just lift them straight onto the tray. They won't stick, there's so much duck fat in there, they're not sticking to anything. Okay, so 20 minutes are up, time to take the beef and potatoes out. So your Wellington should be nice and golden brown now, potatoes bubbling away with a nice crust on the outside. They'll just sit on the side there and rest while you get the vegetables and jus ready. Okay, so while the beef is resting, we can work on the garnish. So if you take the largest of your pans, start with the carrots. So they're in an emulsion. So emulsion is basically, it's chicken stock with butter and chicken fat in it. So it's, and quite a lot of thyme as well, so it's pretty rich and delicious. So let's get rid of that. So we'll start with the carrots first before we put the brassicas in, because they take a little bit longer to warm up. They simply just need to go onto the heat, so it's a low to medium heat, and just let the heat come into those carrots. And then we've got some lovely bits of kale and cabbage and broccoli, all brassicas this time of year from the farm, so they'll go in last minute and just all get coated in that delicious emulsion. The jus is good to go, so literally straight in the pan and just gently let that warm up as well. You'll see as the carrots start to warm up, the emulsion will just relax a little bit because the butter will start to melt. So just give them a little stir and coat them over. So they're going to make delicious glazed vegetables. Okay, so these carrots are nice and glazed up now. They've been cooking for a couple of minutes. I'm just going to get the brassicas all into the pan now and start turning those over. I mean, a little bit of kale doesn't take long to cook, so we just literally want to coat it in this hot emulsion. The red wine sauce is just simmering away nicely. That doesn't need reducing at all, it's all ready to go. So it just needs to be nice and piping hot. So the kale that we grow on the farm, it's really tight and crunched together. You want to just keep tossing it over so all that delicious emulsion gets into all the pockets of the leaf. And it's plating time. So that resting time on the beef Wellington is absolutely important. Don't try and carve it too soon, because actually the resting time is part of the cooking time. So it'll be really hot on the outside but not as warm in the middle, and that residual heat from the outside helps to cook the meat through evenly. So if you cut it open too early, you'll end up with undercooked meat basically. So the moment of truth, I always love carving through anything, because that's when you find out if it's cooked right. And just carve nice long strokes right through the middle. Then open up and you should have a lovely pink piece of beef in the middle of there. That goes onto the plate. And we've got these awesome veggies. So we've got the little sweet carrots, piece of kale there. They're all glazed up in this lovely thyme and chicken fat and butter emulsion. Real good flavour. So just pile them up nicely at the side. Nice bits of kale and broccoli. And then just finish with a little bit of red wine jus. So I like to spoon that around. Be generous with it, everyone likes plenty of sauce. Now we have it then, beef Wellington with duck fat potatoes, and we've got carrots and brassicas cooked in a chicken fat emulsion. Okay, hope you enjoyed the beef. Time for dessert now. So I would start by getting the chocolate fondants in the oven, and then you can enjoy the pre-dessert. So we made a lovely chocolate fondant with roast chicory root. So that's a vegetable we grow on the farm. Almost looks like a long knobbly parsnip, but we roast it and it's got like a dark coffee flavour, so it sits really nicely with the chocolate. So you need your oven on 175 for that, if you've got a fan oven, 195 if it's not. and then 12 minutes in the oven. Don't be tempted to take them out early. The chocolate fondant, I know you want it to be gooey in the middle, but 12 minutes they won't be overcooked, and it's better under than over. So in the meantime, I've got this lovely pre-dessert. So it's a little set pudding of cow corner milk and Yorkshire rhubarb. So just eat that as is. With the raw milk, we collect that from a farm just outside Thirsk. So it's about 10 miles from Oldstead. So totally raw milk, so it's unpasteurised, but we have cooked it to make the pudding, but you get this wonderful sort of sweet richness to the milk. And then in the bottom, rhubarb compote as well, using Yorkshire rhubarb from Tomlinson's farm in Pudsey. And you can see it's pretty, that lovely sort of soft, just set texture. Just a nice thing to have before a chocolate fondant. So okay, 12 minutes is up. Chocolate fondants should have risen right to the top of the moulds and be looking nice. So I just lift them out and just let them rest for a minute. That's really important because you want to turn these out and hopefully they won't collapse. So you should be able to see there's still a bit of softness in the middle, but the outside just start to feel a bit cakey. If you turn it out and it collapses, don't worry about it, it's still going to be absolutely delicious. You want it to be really runny. It's way better than if it's overcooked, because then it's quite stodgy. So once the fondant's been rested for a minute, just turn that straight out onto the plate. And then you get this nice kernel cream with that, just a nice dollop of that on the side. And a few cherries, simple as that. So just be brave, give it that full minute to rest so it can just set up a little bit. And don't take it out of the oven early. And you should get a nice runny pudding like that. Perfect. I really hope you enjoy our Made in Oldstead signature box. Thank you very much for supporting us and our suppliers. If you take some pictures, please share them on socials. That's @Made in Oldstead. Let's do this again soon.